IVM.
Hello and welcome to this final IPL 2020 episode of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. It's a full house here with Varun and Ashwin and myself, DJ. Guys, IPL withdrawal symptoms seem to be setting in, but Ashwin, I'm going to come to you first. How are you feeling after that IPL final, dude?
It's been a lot of feelings, right? It's a lot of emotions to process, as I think we were talking about. But on the one hand, very deflated, very disappointing to have supported a team like Delhi, who had a pretty good season, made it all the way to the final, and then came up short on one day. On the other hand, perspective is important. Delhi has never made a final before, so second place is our best ever finish. So it's definitely cause for celebration in that sense. But then kind of finally, it's more than anything. The IPL has a game every day pretty much for the better part of 2 months, and up until the final week when they take breaks between the playoffs. And so suddenly you wake up Wednesday morning and there's no cricket. There's no IPL on. And so it's going to be a long 2 weeks, I think, till the India tour of Australia starts. But overall, just a lot of different sensations, a lot of mixed feelings.
Varun, is your life feeling a little bit empty too after that IPL final on a Tuesday, I might add?
A little bit, DJ, but as you both know, I'm starting a new job on Monday and I'm extremely excited the IPL is over because I need to now focus on work. So timing-wise, couldn't have been better for me. But I mean, of course, as an IPL fan, you definitely feel the lack of IPL once it's over. You feel what am I going to do with my life? And just to echo a little bit of what Ashwin said, I went through a lot of emotion this week where I said Delhi probably didn't deserve to get to the final the way they played. They had too many ups and downs. But then, there was like Ashwin said, we reached the final for the first time. I'm definitely proud of the team. And you have to also remember a tournament like the IPL where you've got 60 plus games does ensure that a team that has performed well does reach the final. So there's no shortcuts in some sense. So overall, a good season and a lot of IPL withdrawal.
Yeah, let's talk through that final, man. It was 1-2. Mumbai, of course, finishing the league stage at 1, winning qualifier 1 and going straight to the final, having almost a week off before they played their next game, right? And Delhi making it through after beating the Sunrisers Hyderabad, where Ashwin and I were absolutely delighted to talk about on the last episode. So let's talk through that final, guys. I mean, of course, Delhi won the toss and decided to bat first again. Ashwin, was that the right move from your perspective after the disaster of the last league game, 110 for 8 that we got to against Mumbai?
I think it is. I think they had to, right? I think Delhi has performed better, at least in the pressure matches. When batting first, they back themselves to put a total on the board, and then honestly, you said this before, but you play to your strengths, right? And Delhi's strength this year has been its bowling. So you trust or back your bowlers to defend a target more than you back your batsmen to chase down a target. So I think on paper, the right call. They did it against Hyderabad. Win toss, bat first, promote Marcus Stoinis, and it was a masterstroke. Obviously, we know it fell short in the final.
Yeah, Varun, what was your emotion when Stoinis went first ball of the IPL final to bolt? Were you thinking 0 for 3 or 15 for 3 at that stage?
I was just trying to avoid 0 for 3. No, but I didn't tell you guys this. I had messaged another friend of mine. And for the last 2 days before the final, I was just secretly hoping that they send Rahane to open with Stoinis at 3. And my rationale for that really was that, Stoinis is the man in form. Bolt is a great opening bowler, very different to the SRH bowling unit that they have got. And I just somewhere felt that, if a Stoinis was to go in the first over, the morale of the team will be low because here's your best performer of the IPL 2020 season. And just as luck would have it, first ball, Stoinis goes. And so I was feeling pretty deflated at that, pretty angry that they decided to go with the same move, although I understand that it worked in the last game. So a little bit upsetting there, but yeah, man, I mean, we've been discussing this for over 2 years, this whole concept of a knockout game being 15 for 3. Delhi was pretty much exactly there, almost to the point that both of you have now got scared of this whole 15 for 3 scenario because it's becoming very, very real. And I think what happens is when a team gets to that, pretty much it's the game is over, right? Because from there you're on the back foot. You're trying to fight back. DJ, I know I'm stealing your thunder a little bit, but Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant walked out when the score was around 15 for 3 or 22 for 3, 22 for 3. And from there on, you have to fight and you're on the back foot. And boy, I have to say, both Iyer and Pant really, really impressed me.
Yeah, we'll definitely come to that. But before that, Ashwin, I want to ask about the inclusion of Jayant Yadav from the Mumbai Indians. They dropped Rahul Chahar, who's been such a success for them through the IPL, and played Jayant Yadav, who, again, like Trent Bolt and de Kock, used to play for the Delhi Capitals. So what went on there? I mean, every move Mumbai pull seems to just come off, man. How are they the invincibles?
Yeah, I think that's the scary thing, right? Is exactly as you said it. Every move they try seems to work, and these are the kind of moves that you could, if they didn't work, you'd look back and the captain would get flagged probably for the rest of their career, saying what were they thinking, what a silly, stupid decision, etc. And because it worked, it looked like a masterstroke. So I mean, obviously Rohit's logic there was Delhi is fairly left-hander heavy. I guess if you think of Dhawan, Pant, Hetmeyer, Akshar are all left-handers, and so Rahul Chahar gets a little bit weakened against that lineup, and it sort of worked, right? Jayant Yadav got Dhawan, and he bowled really, really well. He ended up picking up 1 for 25, and his 4 overs the most economical on the day. So turned out to be a great stroke. I think it's a big, bold move, but it's not the first time they've done stuff like that, and it's worked for them.
I thought it was an incredible move, and Shikhar just fell for it hook, line and sinker, and that left us at 22 for 3. And who walks out in 22 for 3 but our boy Rishabh Pant. Now, Varun, I'm going to come to you on this, right? We've spoken about Rishabh Pant at length. We've talked about his issues, his mind not being in the place that it needs to be, his game not being in the place it needs to be, how ugly he looks at the crease. But that fight back by Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer, I know we're all so proud of it, but I mean, how much character does it take for someone like a Pant who hasn't scored more than, I think his highest scored until then was 38, to come out and score his first 50 this IPL when his team is at 22 for 3 against the 4-time and defending champion Mumbai. And now 5-time, of course, but at that time they were only 4.
Yeah, DJ, I mean, on the day, great character, well played. Rishabh Pant came in, kind of steadied the ship a little bit. And so full credit to him for doing that, especially when you look at the rest of the scores of the Delhi batsmen. I think majority of them were in single digits. So kudos to him for that. But honestly, he's been around long enough. You would expect this from him. There were situations in the IPL previously where Delhi was stuck and Rishabh Pant didn't stand up. So again, like I said, I want to give congratulations to him for that particular performance. But overall, it doesn't change the fact that I think he's had a terrible season.
Ashwin, anything to add on the Pant point before we move to Iyer?
No, I mean, I think I was just glad that they both stood up tall because it enabled a half-decent final. But, I mean, I was just worried at a point, given Pant's form going in, from 22 for 3, you could have easily seen this side buckle to 75-80 all out. So, glad that he stood up when he did, but fully agree with Varun.
Yeah, so from 22 for 3, we were at 117 for 3 at the end of 15 overs when Pant fell, trying to hoik Nathan Coulter, which, I mean, he was trying to put his foot on the accelerator. But Ashwin, after Shreyas really took off, he kind of counter-attacked. He was 39 from 30 balls at one stage, batting quite nicely and looking in good rhythm. But he ended on 65 of 50, not out. Ashwin, did we just not get that finishing kick? And I mean, we saw it in the qualifier too as well. Hetmeyer didn't score many this game. Patel didn't get in really. Rabada couldn't get a bat on it either. So does some of the blame for us falling maybe 15-20 runs short lie with Shreyas Iyer not being able to push on and accelerate against the quality Mumbai lineup at the end?
Yeah, look, the blame definitely sits with the inability to finish, and we've talked about this extensively on this show, but Delhi has a shortage of a finisher or a lower order batter. Now, when Stoinis was playing at 6, he played that role, but really you can't have one guy do everything, right? Pick up 3 wickets, make a 50 at the top in the qualifier, also bat at 6, right? You obviously can't do all those things. And so that's where Delhi is, we're going to talk about the auction and stuff, but if you're the Delhi team, one of the major missing pieces in this puzzle is I want to say a lower order player, but ideally a lower order player who can bowl 2 to 4 overs. And so if you're using Stoinis up the order because Shaw failed, you just need that. And exactly as you said, Hetmeyer wasn't able to strike much. Akshar wasn't able to strike much. So to your question, I think some of the blame does sit with Iyer. I always have a hard time blaming a guy who makes 60-odd runs to recover from 22 for 3 for also not finishing, because it's a lot to ask one person to do everything. But yes, he's the captain. He bats at 4. He does have the ability to hit those 6s. He wasn't able to connect on the day.
Did I hear MS Dhoni anyway? Yeah.
But I mean, and that's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
That's like Dhoni chooses to come in late and play the finisher role. And so in their matches, if their matches when Dhoni comes in at 5 for 3 and consolidates, I don't blame him for not accelerating at the end ever.
Yeah.
But when you come in the 13th, 14th over and delay yourself to do that, then you better be willing to be able to hit. So.
Yeah, agreed. Anyway, we ended at 156, right? Varun, did you, at the halfway stage, what were your thoughts at that stage? Was it hope or was it a little bit of confidence? Knowing that it was a final, maybe you could add on 15 runs out of the pressure of the chase, and Rohit Sharma, the big threat, hadn't been in good form until then. So how are you feeling going into the break?
No, I mean, I knew we were going to lose. I think there was a lot of chat around adding 15 runs for a final. I started believing that myself. I, was trying to pump myself up. And I would say probably for any other team, adding 15 runs to a final is a very, very good metric to think about. But against this Mumbai Indians team, whether Rohit Sharma, De Kock, Suryakumar are in form or not, it doesn't matter. Like, you knew they were going to win. So it's been tough for us. I also do want to say that, when you look at Delhi's bowling, it's been good for majority, but in pressure games, I don't think it's been that great. And I was just checking out somebody like Rabada's stats, right? In 2019, just to give you perspective, he bowled at an average of 14.7, and in 2020, his average was 18, right? So his economy rate in 2019, 7.8. His economy rate in 2020 is 8.3. And the number of wickets he took is just 30 versus 25 last year. But he bowled almost for 4 more matches. So Rabada, I think, while he's good, I didn't have that confidence that a Rabada and a Nokia could stop Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, and if you look at Cricinfo's smart stats, Rabada actually comes right at the end of the top wicket takers, right? And the top guys are the guys who take wickets in the power play, the Bumrahs, the Bolts, the Jofra Archers, right, top of that list, because the impact is in the power play, right? A lot of Rabada's wickets, for better or for worse, have come at the back end. So, yeah, totally agree with that. Ashwin, let's talk through this innings. Ashwin opened the bowling, your namesake, against Rohit Sharma. Second or third ball, Rohit Sharma goes for a big hit. It goes a few inches over long on. Ashwin, at that point, I already started getting that sinking feeling that even you need a bit of luck when you're defending 156, right? And that wasn't going to go our way. So let's talk through this innings. Rohit Sharma had scored a duck in his last 2 games, comes out, scores 68 of 51 in the big pressure game. How good was that innings from the Indian vice captain?
Yeah, he almost had to, right? He had to make a statement. There's been so much talk about his injury. Then Pollard came in and won games as captain. Then he didn't get selected in the Tour for Australia amidst discussion about injury. And then he actually wasn't injured enough to not play the IPL, but then he made the Ducks, etc. So he almost had to. I think Varun said it well. We all knew that it was a really, really tall order to defend 156. And then when Rohit came out and started batting the way he did, it was basically game over. I want to say by the end of the power play. I think there were 45 in the first 4 overs or so. And you knew from that point on against the Mumbai batting lineup that has kind of quality batsmen till 7. And then Nathan Coulter-Nile at 8. Jayant Yadav at 9. Yadav has a test century, remember. So it was always inevitable that Mumbai was going to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to you, Varun, about Rohit Sharma and fitness. We saw him struggling to run 2s. Was that due to his injury, or is he... do you think he's going to be able to clear the yo-yo test? I mean, he's genuinely looking like he's slow on the field, right?
Yeah, he is. He is looking like he's slower. I think no doubt it's a combination of, he did look like he had become a little bit unfit. I think that's the right way to put it during the entire lockdown.
Very diplomatic, sir.
Yeah. So I think that's the best way to describe it. It's probably a combination of both the injury as well as the entire 6 months where you're sitting at home. But I do have to say this, right? From September 19th, the first day we saw Rohit Sharma, to the IPL final, which was held this last Tuesday, I could already see a visible difference. So sometimes you got to cut people some slack. I mean, Rohit is very talented. He is going to do well for India, and I have no doubt, right? 6 months of sitting at home can be tough. So I think he's going to come out of it. He's already looking much better. This injury wouldn't have helped, but I would say give him another month or so, and he'll be back to what he was.
Yeah, so we
which
saw
is
him-
not the fittest player in the world, but at least he's back to what he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's had his knee injuries in the past. I mean, he's a brilliant fielder back then, right? But, I mean, he was struggling with the twos, but he also struggled with the single. Ashwin, I'm going to come to you on this one. How big was that sacrifice from Suryakumar Yadav? This is the second time that I can remember that Rohit Sharma has run him out this IPL. And, I mean, he could have just stood his ground. Rohit Sharma hits it to cover. It goes, I think, to Praveen Dubey or Rahane, one of the two, right? And Praveen Dubey, actually. And he fires it in, and both batsmen are at the same end, and Sky walks past him to sacrifice his wicket. I mean, how big a gesture is that from somebody who isn't in the Indian team, is fighting for every run? I mean, did that completely win you over?
I think it completely won everybody over, right? It feels like social media, the news, it's almost as though I don't think Sky needed to do more to win over. What?
Say it. I was going to say the same thing. It's like he's got a PR team that's like advising him, if this happens,
Can
be
you imagine?
gracious and walk off so that we can then build your profile.
They're doing some scenario planning before the game that if Rohit is about to run you out to sacrifice, I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, he didn't really need to do more, let's be clear, to win us over. He has batted unbelievably. People are calling him India's Mr. 360. He's looked so good out there. I actually think I remember this being the third time Rohit has run him out this IPL. So we can double check those stats. And in all situations when he looked good and was poised to do well. So, these are just that split-second decision. What I did like is that Rohit in the press conference later said, it all happened so quickly, but I should have probably sacrificed my wicket for Suryakumar because of how well he's been batting. So just unbelievable how bad Rohit has been at running this IPL, but very, very selfless act from Sky, and it definitely won him. If you hadn't been won over by his batting, you got won over by this, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think you can dislike the Mumbai Indians, but it's impossible to dislike this guy. Like, Suryakumar Yadav is making a place in every Indian fan's heart, whether he gets a call to India or not, which hopefully should come soon enough. But let's move on. The other guy who's made a big splash this IPL is Kishan, right? The guy who's hit the maximum number of sixes this IPL 2020. Varun, would you have put your money on Kishan being the biggest six hitter in IPL 2020 ever?
No, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have. We've seen the guy before. He can hit it. I think 2-3 years ago, he looked a little bit immature. He looked a little bit erratic. And I think he's worked on his game, right? So, to be honest, like, I was checking out his stats as well. I think he's got the most runs in a season by an uncapped Indian batsman. And he played 13 matches this IPL. He scored 516 runs at an average of 57 and a strike rate of 145. And remember, I think, if my math serves me correctly, there are a total of 16 games that Mumbai Indians played. So he didn't play 3 games. Just going by his average, he probably would have ended up close to 650 runs if he had played every game for Mumbai Indians. I mean, that is colossal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about our team of the tournament soon. But let's move on, guys. We've talked about it. Kishan got a nice little 30 to be there at the end. It was a great moment for a young player like him, only 22 years old. The IPL GOAT, Krunal Pandya, accompanied him with 1 run. So hitting the winning runs, in fact. So that was great. But let's talk about all the chat that's gone on around Mumbai Indians, right? We had the Mumbai Indians fans on in the last episode. They were fairly confident that they were going to win the 5th trophy. Varun, I'm going to come to you on this one. You asked the question, actually, is Rohit the best captain or the captain of the best team? Has the 5th title for Rohit Sharma as Mumbai Indian player and skipper solved that conundrum? Has that been answered now? Is he the best T20 captain India has?
I mean, the stats seem to point towards that, right, DJ? If I'm not mistaken, was he the captain when Deccan Chargers won, or was it someone else?
That was Gilchrist. Yeah.
Gilchrist, okay. So Rohit Sharma has got 6 IPL trophies. He's got 5 of them as captain. To put it into perspective, the best captain India has seen, MS Dhoni, has got 3, right? So when you look at those kind of numbers, you're just like, well, there has to be something in this team and Rohit Sharma's captaincy. So, I mean, I definitely think Rohit has done a great job. I think there is a case for him to take over one format of either ODI or T20 cricket as the captain. A lot of people had said that will lessen the burden on Virat Kohli as well. There's a lot of young blood coming up. Rohit seems to be kind of, a really great leader. And we said that at two instances, right? Like Ashwin mentioned, the Sky the point at the end where he said, I should have sacrificed my wicket for him. The other one is Rahul Chahal, where he's at the start of the innings said that we have to put our arm around Chahal and say that, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just the nature of the game that we've left you out of the final. So I think Rohit's got those qualities. If you ask me personally, I don't see it happening. Do you think it should happen? Yes, I think it should happen.
Ashwin, I'm going to pick up on this with you because, there's been a lot of chatter around Kohli being the India T20 captain. Gautam Gambhir has come out and questioned his ability to captain India if he hasn't led RCB, who he's captain for so many years, to any success. Ashwin, is Kohli's T20 India captaincy in any danger from Rohit Sharma, and should it be? And how would a Kohli react to Sharma taking over the captaincy from him in the T20 format? Because I think that's the one that is most likely, if ever, to go to Rohit.
Yeah, so lots of questions there. Should it be in danger? I think Varun answered it correctly. I think it should be a little bit. You cannot argue with the credentials that Rohit has. Not just when he captains for Mumbai, but he also has good results. I don't have the data in front of me, but he has good results when he captains India. So that's one. Is it in danger? I think the answer is probably no, unless Kohli himself decides to step aside. And I think that's probably a little bit of the downside of the way we operate. Australia, arguably, from a cricket culture standpoint, is a little more ruthless, a little more cutthroat. In India, for a player like Kohli, who is, one of, if not the best player to have ever lived, maybe, I don't think the BCCI will strip him of the captaincy, if you will. So unless there are some behind-the-scenes conversations and Kohli himself decides he's going to scale back his T20 schedule to focus on ODIs and Test, or he says, hey, I'll play, but I'm not going to focus on captaincy, I don't think it'll be taken away from him. So two very different questions with different answers. I think it should be under threat a little bit, but I don't think it is.
Varun, I'm going to ask you a little bit of a naughty question. If Rohit becomes captain, is Virat's spot as a batsman in danger at all from people like Sky?
I don't think so, because he's not picked Sky in the squad, right? So I think that's his way of keeping his place in the team. But
do you think Kohli is the guy who kept Sky out? That's a big statement, man.
We saw the stare. We saw the stare.
Kohli has to be a factor. Also, I think, we'll talk about this at a later date, but I think the problem with T20 cricket is everyone's becoming a number 1, 2 or 3 batsman. And so that's not going to help the game or any specific country, right? Even with England, you're seeing Ben Stokes and Sam Curran open the batting, Butler opening the batting. So I think generally T20 cricket is in for a little bit of a messy situation. But, look, again, DJ, I don't think this is going to happen. So it's not something that I want to say yes or no to. I think India has got 3 World Cups in the next 3 years, 2 of which are going to be held in India. So Kohli is going to play. Kohli's stats in T20 cricket, I think he's an average above 50, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think there's any risk for Kohli there. And I think Indian and the Indian BCCI and the selectors and everyone's gonna recognize that 3 years is probably what it takes. If we win 1 or 2 of these World Cups, fantastic. We break that jinx of not winning a tournament. If not, I think 100% there'll be changes, but you got to give him a little bit of time.
Ashwin, I'm just sticking with this for a second. Do you think we need separate selection panels for the 3 separate formats? What do you think of that as an idea?
It's an interesting idea. I don't think you need separate selection panels. I think the selection panel needs to start thinking about it as 3 different formats. And today they think about it as 2, kind of, right? You think about tests and you think about limited overs. I know they have separate squads, but the idea is interesting. But the Indian side needs to start thinking about ODIs and T20s as very different. And you could almost have 2 completely separate 11s out of Indian players. That's how deep the bench is. So I think they need to start thinking about it differently. I'm not sure having a completely separate group of people solves it.
Awesome. So we've talked through quite a lot there, but I think the final thing that we should really talk about is the Maha auction or the mega auction that's due to take place in 2021. Guys, is this the only way of breaking the monopoly that the Mumbai Indians seem to be holding on the IPL at the moment? Because I remember when the IPL started, I was quite upset by this mega auction, and then you couldn't back players and support a team and a franchise for a long time because the players kept changing and you didn't know where their loyalties lie. But I have finally seen the reason why they do it. So, Ashwin, I'm going to come to you. What are your thoughts on the mega auction? And is this really why the mega auction existed? And is it the way of breaking the Mumbai monopoly?
Yeah, so I've kind of been consistent, I think, since day one that I'm not actually personally a fan of the mega auction. I think a big part of, if you look at any sports leagues around the world, a big part of loyalty and support for teams comes from support of players. And we heard that with a lot of our fans who were on our show in the last few weeks, right? In our fan specials. So I'm not a fan of just saying, hey, every 3 years, everybody goes back into the pool, you re-auction everybody. I think the exception is, and so let me answer your question. I don't know if it was created to make the league more equal, to whatever the word you called it, but to break up the monopolies, etc. I think the exception is if they're adding a new team. And so a lot of the discussion has been, are they going to add a 9th team to the IPL? When you do that, you can't just say, okay, now here, team number 9, new owners, go find a squad of 20 new world-class players. I think that's the only scenario in which, okay, put everybody back in the pool, and now you start from scratch to redivide players because there's a new team in the mix and you need 9 equal teams, not 8. So that's the only exception to me where I think
But you'd
necessary.
still have the right to match and the right to retain players, right?
So again, that becomes a disadvantage for the new team, which may be okay. You may say, hey, you need to have some advantage for having funded a team as an owner for the first 13 years. And so maybe that's the middle ground where you do have the auction, but these teams have the ability to retain a few players. But yeah, you at least have the majority of players available in the pool to bid on.
Awesome. Guys, before we move to our team of the tournament, any final thoughts on IPL 2020, the quality of cricket, what it meant to fans and yourselves? Varun, maybe you can go first on this one.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think a lot of people forgot that COVID was on when the IPL game was going on. I think the entertainment value was high. It got people to stay home and watch the game rather than probably go out. And in general, I think in a year where a lot of sports fans were craving sports, I think IPL has come out and done an absolutely fantastic job. Apart from 1 or 2 hiccups at the start, I don't think there was a COVID case that was really reported across the 6 weeks. And, you got to give credit to the organizers. They pulled off an absolutely amazing job. And I'm very thankful that they did it.
Ashwin, are you still glad to have live sport back on your TV? Anything about the IPL?
Yeah, it's been 100 days or so, right? No, I'm just kidding, of course. I couldn't say it better than Varun did. I think just so nice to have seen it. The tournament happen the way it did. I think it meant a lot to a lot of people. So just kudos to the BCCI, to the broadcasters, to all the folks that made it happen. As fans of the game, we're very appreciative.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. Congratulations to the Mumbai Indians and their fans for yet another fantastic victory. Delhi fans have been left with a little bit of a bittersweet taste in their mouth. But, I mean, I think our fans are very, very proud of the way the team was in it until the last day of the tournament. I mean, CSK was knocked out almost a month ago, right? It feels like it was so long ago. So very proud of the team. The team's always gone up. It's improved. We've gone from 3rd to 2nd this year. So hopefully next year, Ashwin and Varun, will be the year that we're sitting here and talking about a Delhi Capitals win in front of a home crowd, stadium full of screaming fans. So we will wait till that. But until then, we will take a break and we will be straight back with our team of the tournament, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Want to wish you all a happy Diwali. Hope you had a great festive season. It's been a great week in terms of the kinds of guests we've had and the kind of conversations we've had on the network this week. Do definitely check some of these things out. On This Round's on Me with Gauri Devidayal, she had a great conversation with Gauri Mahara, who's one of the best-known chefs in the world. It was just absolutely riveting. Do check that out. On States of Anarchy, Hamsini Hariran spoke about chronicling India's different wars. Again, really interesting episode. Check that out. Ashton had a very interesting episode on his show, The Habit Coach. It was called I Don't Feel Like Doing Anything. It's about how to overcome malaise just generally, and I thought really, really interesting stuff. Kumi Veana was the guest on Cider Says on Monday's episode last week, and she's an educator, and my God, it was such a fascinating conversation talking about the way education functions in India and some of the changes she'd like to see. Just really, really interesting stuff. Do give that a listen. On Uncle Please Sit, Anupam Manur was there with Joel and Tushar talking about the Indian economy, part one of a two-part series. Second part will be out this week. You should definitely check that out. Lastly, I want to talk to you all about the Filter Coffee podcast. Karthik Nagarajan, who hosts that show, is on a little bit of a break. He's back with a banger of an episode. It is with Himura Maya, who used to run Landmark Stores, and they talk about the culture of bookstores and quizzing and all kinds of stuff. Really interesting conversation. Do check that out. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Welcome back from that break, and we are still here on the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. The IPL 2020 has concluded. It was a fantastic tournament, 56 games, 3 playoffs, and the big final, Mumbai taking the big prize at the end of the day for the 5th time. Varun and Ashwin, we haven't actually prepared for this section this time, have we? So we're going to wing it a little bit. We're going to go through our team of the tournament. So should we kick off with the openers, guys? Who are the top 2 openers to your mind? Ashwin, your openers first, Varun after that, and then I'll go with mine.
Yeah, this is a tough call. So it's very, very difficult to leave out KL Rahul. I think he had a magnificent season. Orange Cap winner, 670. A lot of people, I think, would have shooed in Devdutt Padikkal as the second opener. To me, Shikhar Dhawan just edges him out. So I would have Rahul and Shikhar as my openers. It's very difficult to overlook Shikhar with 2 centuries, and he basically got Delhi into the final, right? So yeah, those would be my openers.
So we're going to go with a majority system on this one, okay? So two votes gets a player in, right?
Sure, let's do it.
Varun, let's go. So I've got Rahul and Shikhar down for Ashwin. Who are your 2 openers, Varun?
I mean, I would say for me, Rahul and Warner.
I didn't even use. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, this is really tough because Warner, Devdutt, Rahul, Shikhar are all quality openers this year. So anyway, DJ.
So Rahul's basically made it in, irrespective of my vote. The second opener. What happens if we all have 3 different openers?
We really didn't think this through before.
We haven't made it.
Let's just go through it. Let's have the discussion. So write down all. If we disagree, then write down all 3.
So I would go with Shikhar for this one because his strike rate this time around was incredible, and we criticized him so much for his strike rate. He averaged 44 and struck at 144, which is better than David Warner. And David Warner, definitely IPL greatest of all time, but had a bit of a weak season, and when it mattered, he didn't deliver. So I think Shikhar takes it for those hundreds. Plus, he had a great run, which coincided with Delhi winning a lot of games. So I think Rahul and Shikhar, and although I would have probably not gone for Rahul, but he's made it through. So I'm going to go with Rahul and Shikhar there. Okay, number 3. Guys, I am going to go with Ishan Kishan at number 3. Ashwin?
I'm going to go with Surya. I thought this would have been a default, but Suryakumar Yadav at 3 for sure for me.
Let's look at his stats. Surya averages 40, striking 145. Ishan averages 57, and striking at 145.
So he had 1 extra not out. Ishan had 1 extra not out.
But 2 less innings and more runs.
2 less games.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's true. The stats do favor Ishan. I guess when you think about Rahul and Dhawan, you could being solid openers, you could probably have Ishan at 3. I without looking at the numbers directly, for me, Sky was just a breakthrough this year, so I would have had him at 3. So I'll stick to that.
Okay, so I've got Sky for you.
I'm going Ishan Kishan, so that's also done.
So wow, we are.
Let's be clear. Ishan has batted. He opened and he played at 4 as well, right? So could he not? Does he have to be at 3 in your teams, or could he not play later?
He could play 4. Yeah, fair enough. He could play 4 in my team. Actually, he did bat 4 for a large proportion, right, Varun? Should we move him down to 4? Let's do him at 4. So who's 3 then? Ashwin's got Surya. This is an interesting question. Kohli had an okay year. Kohli was okay this year. I think Surya it'll have to be, right? So we've got another Mumbai Indian player there. So I've got Surya.
Can I just put out there, by the way, that we have all, because they didn't make the playoffs, we've all kind of ignored Shubman and Faf, both who had really, really strong years. So
and
any
Mayank
thoughts
as
on
well.
that?
Mayank as well.
And Mayank. I guess Mayank didn't play the last few games, so he ended up falling down. I think Mayank had a great first half of the tournament and less strong second. But yeah, for me, Shubman and Faf were worth conversations, and I thought interesting that neither of you brought them up.
Yeah, for me, I would actually play Ben Stokes at 3. But yeah.
Ooh, Ben Stokes
That's
at 3.
really interesting.
Didn't we want him to bat at 5 for Rajasthan though?
I mean, I think the way he opened, it just... I think Ben Stokes and Butler are both so great, but when you've got a keeper already in Rahul, I think a Ben Stokes with the bowling all-rounder, and I mean, I wouldn't leave Ben Stokes out of any team, even if he played 2 matches.
So, but because Ashwin and I both have Surya at 3, Stokes doesn't.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. We can go with Surya.
Yeah.
But I was just giving my view.
So right now the order looks like Rahul, Shikhar Dhawan, Surya, and Ishan.
I don't think we've locked on Ishan at 4.
Have we not? I've got Ishan at 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think DJ said that both you and Ashwin agreed on that. I mean, the reality of the team you're creating is that you put in Rohit Sharma instead of Shikhar Dhawan, who is actually stronger. And that's the Mumbai Indians squad, right? The top 3 or the number 2.
I thought you were going to say you put in... Anyway, I thought you were going to say it looks like the Team India. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't got a single foreign player. I think Gale could have been a good contender for 3. But he didn't play half the tournament, right? He averaged 41, struck at 138. So roughly similar to Ben Stokes, actually, his stats. Very close.
And none of us had AB at 4.
Yeah, so I would have put AB at 4. But again, I think it's majority.
Yeah, but Kishan has had such a breakthrough season, right? I mean, incredible season by him. Okay, so we've got Rahul, Shikhar, Surya, Ishan at the moment. Number 5, guys. Who is our number 5? Varun, you go first.
I would put AB de Villiers.
AB de Villiers. And the first foreign player makes it in. Let's have a look at AB's stats this year. 45 average, 160 nearly strike rate. Can't argue with that. Ashwin, any thoughts on number 5 for you?
Yeah, I was going the same place. I guess I gave a little spoiler by saying it earlier, but it's tough because I thought pretty seriously about an Owen Morgan who had a good tournament, but again, didn't make it. So there's a little bit of recency bias because we haven't seen Chennai, KKR, Rajasthan and Punjab in a while. But I would go with AB over Morgan as well.
Is AB keeping wicket, or is Rahul keeping wicket in this team, or is Ishan keeping wicket in this team?
Yeah, good question, actually. I mean, honestly, any of them could do it. I wouldn't play AB keeping wicket. I think I want him to focus on his batting. So it would be probably Ishan ahead of Rahul.
So Ishan for your wicket keeping. Ashwin, Varun, who would keep wicket?
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have Ishan keep wicket because he bats 4, so Rahul can focus on opening. Okay, guys. Number 6. I've got Marcus Stoinis at number 6 for me. Any thoughts?
Same for me.
Varun?
Same.
Okay, awesome. So we've got Marcus. Ashwin?
Yeah, I mean, that's consensus right there, right?
No, you can give us the name if you want.
I have a couple of different thoughts for number 7. So maybe let's go with 6.
Why don't you give us number 7 then first?
So I'm really torn. This is tough to pick a guy from a team that came 7th, but I'm torn between Jadeja, who I thought had an amazing season, and Sam Curran. So both Chennai guys, incidentally. They both slot in for 7 for me. I mean, I'll let you guys go and we can have a discussion, but it'll be one of those 2 guys for me.
Varun, do you want to go first?
I mean, I'm going to say Stokes.
We haven't slotted Stokes yet. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben Stokes gets in to Varun's. Ashwin, we got Stokes. I don't think you can play without Stokes, man. He gives us too much balance. I'm going to go with Stokes at 7, man.
Has Stokes ever played at 7 in T20 cricket?
No, but Raina hasn't batted at 5, right?
Yeah, you give me so much shit for that, though. For months, you give me shit for playing a guy out of position in my greatest. And now you guys are both playing Stokes at 7?
But that's true, actually. That is a fair point. That is a fair point. He hasn't batted 7 at all this season. We went with Kishan at 4 because he's batted at 4. So either we bat him in position or don't pick him.
I think, guys, I mean, we have to select this because we're doing a consensus, right? Each of us have a different team. But
I agree with Ashwin, actually. I'll go with Jadeja then. I'll go with Jadeja at 7.
Okay. So to me, it's just that because we're doing a consensus, that's why there's a little bit of... it's a little bit confusing. But happy for Jadeja at 7.
Yeah, I guess it's always a question with these things. Do you get the best players or do you get the best players for their positions? Right? That's always the... That's why Ashwin picked Raina at 5, right? Because he's a great T20 player, no doubt about it.
And that's why we said Sky is not in Team India right now, because he's one of the best batsmen, but he's not the best number 3. He's not better than Kohli yet.
So now we've got up until number 7. We've got Marcus at 6, Jadeja at 7. So you've got the left arm spin covered. You've got the kind of seeming all-rounder in place.
Can we do the kind of 8, 9, 10, 11? Can I give mine and let's see how much disagreement there is with this?
Oh, seniors building consensus here. Love
All
it.
right, let's do it.
Go.
Okay, so we are looking for 4 players, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 5?
4. So 2 quicks probably, 3 quicks and...
One sec, let him decide though, right? He's got 4 bowlers. Yeah. The question is, are we limiting to 4 overseas? In which case we already have AB and Stoinis. So you only have 2 overseas in the 4.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So I would play Archer,
Jofra,
Bumrah, Chahal and Rashid.
Which Chahal? Chahal.
There's only one Chahal.
Chahal, Rashid.
Sorry, senior, should I pull the clip where you said Chahal's not a match winner?
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but he's done well, man.
I specifically remember having this conversation where you said he's not I called out that he's a champion bowler. You said no, he's not a match winner. Psst.
So Jofra, Rashid, Bumrah and Chahal. Wow.
Yeah, and that's why, again, like just for the listeners, I would have had Stokes in my team, and that's why these would be my 4. But in this situation, I guess Jadeja and Stoinis become your last 2 bowlers.
Who would you have had Stokes in for, just in this top 6? Would you have
for Surya? There's no way.
But that's 5 overseas, right? So you need to drop Stokes. You need to drop AB or Stoinis for Stokes if you want to play Bumrah and Rashid.
Yeah, got it. So then I would have dropped Stoinis.
Yeah.
So that I could see. I mean, when we have Marcus Stoinis playing at 6, I could see playing Stokes at 6, and Stokes is arguably just a better Stoinis. He's a better batsman and a slightly better bowler.
Stokes hasn't batted 6 all season.
Correct. So that's where this becomes tricky. He has batted at 6 for England in T20s before.
Yeah, of course. And ODIs as well.
Yeah, so
he has form. But I mean, he's picked a pretty strong bowling lineup. Jofra, Rashid, Bumrah, Chahal, man.
I guess the challenge is...
to argue with that.
I guess the challenge is your team, Varun, made the finals off of the back of strong bowling, and neither Rabada nor Nokia made your 11.
Yeah, because I genuinely didn't think that Rabada was good enough. There is definitely that overseas player cap issue, but yeah, he wasn't good enough for me.
So I've got Jofra in 100% because of that impact that he's that he imparts. Like, I mean, he's taken so many wickets in the power play. I think he has to be in for me. Bumrah, I mean, genuine all-time great. We didn't say Bhuvi this time because he was injured, and he just edges out Trent Bolt also because Trent Bolt is an overseas, so I can't use him. Guys, I would actually go with Shami as my other quick. So I've got Bumrah, Shami, Jofra. I've got Jadeja in my as my all-rounder. Ashwin, are we all agreed on Bumrah?
Yeah, I'm all agreed on Bumrah and Jofra.
So that leaves 2 spots. Varun's got Rashid and Chahal, both leggies. I don't have a wrist spinner yet in my team.
Well, we all have Jadeja, right?
So, but he's off spin, like he's finger spinner.
Yeah. No. We already have a spinner.
Yeah. So I need to. We both need to. I've got Shami as my 11th. He's number 11 for me, but I need to fill a spinning slot. And for me, actually, this IPL, I would actually go with Varun Chakravarti because I think he's been absolutely outstanding and the only bowler to take a fifer. So I've got Varun Chakravarti as my spinner. So I've got Jofra, Chakravarti, Bumrah, and Shami as my team. Ashwin, do you want to wrap up with your last 2?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna split the difference just so we have some variety. So again, Jofra and Bumrah for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you, I don't think you need 3 spin options. Where like Varun has Rashid, Chahal, and Jadeja. I would go with Jofra, Bumrah. My spin option would be Chahal because I think I would like the leg spinner. I think Varun had a great season, but I mean, if you take other than the 5-4, he had some games where he did get hit pretty badly, and didn't pick up wickets. So Chahal, and then my fourth one, I'm going to go a little bit out just for his death bowling. I'm going to go with Natarajan. Because to me, he was breakthrough this year. 16 wickets. He took them predominantly in the death overs. Yes, he got hit a little bit, but to me, to have your last 4 overs as Bumrah and Natarajan just constantly bowling at the toes would be pretty strong.
So our bowlers are then, due to consensus, we've got Jofra, Bumrah and Chahal in. But that's leaving one slot where we need to come to consensus where we've got Natarajan, Shami and Rashid Khan playing for that last spot. Guys, this is fantastic.
Actually, DJ, you and I ended up with 3 overseas only, right? We saved one because we AB Stoinis and Archer because we're not using that second bowler.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It's Natarajan, Shami and Rashid, guys. Who are we going for? Who's convincing whom for this one?
Varun, are you sticking to your guns? Do you think you need 3 spinners?
No, actually I don't. I think I would go with Shami.
I could see that.
He's
I
got
could
it.
see Mohammad Shami being the pick. Yeah.
I mean, imagine Shami and Jofra opening the bowling, man. With
I thought you were going
Bumrah
to say,
as
imagine
first
Shami and Bumrah opening the bowling. I was like,
Yeah, I was just going to say that's happening soon.
November 27th, Shami and Bumrah are going to open the bowling.
There you have it, guys. You've got our team of the tournament. Incredible. We've
Made live in real time in front of you guys.
Yeah, and we're going to get so much abuse for the people that we've left out. We've just done this as a fun
You
exercise.
basically
guys.
left out Ben Stokes. I cannot believe that. You cannot do this.
Ben Stokes को छोड़ दिया Ben Stokes.
Yeah.
बाहर है Ben
You
Stokes.
cannot do this.
Okay, but do you, like, if you had 2 or 3 guys honorable mention to make up your squad, who would they be really quickly? Mine would be, let me go. I would say Quinton and Devdutt both who could have been openers in this side. So Quinton de Kock, Devdutt Padikkal. I'm not as passionate about Ben Stokes, to be honest, because he didn't play that much. And then Sam Curran and Kagiso Rabada. Those are the 4 guys I left out, but I think could have made it.
The 3 mentions for me would be Devdutt Padikkal, David Warner, and Ben Stokes.
Yeah, so I would have gone with Varun Chakravarti because I really wanted him in my team because I think he had a brilliant season. I mean, getting called up to the Indian team off the back of that season was just brilliant. Trent Bolt would be the other guy. I mean, he has changed. Between him and Bumrah, I mean, they just blasted teams out for fun. They struck every 13 balls, man, for a wicket, which was just brilliant and fantastic. I mean, and Nokia for me as well. So it's all bowlers really, because Nokia really had a breakthrough season this year. Loved it. Devdutt Padikkal, emerging player. Very, very happy for him. Looks like a solid batsman. But for me, the player of this, who actually won Man of the IPL? Do we know?
I have no
Jofra
idea.
Archer.
Jofra
MVP
did.
was Jofra Archer.
Can I just say, before we close, I know we've gone long, none of us mentioned Rahul Tewatia. 10 wickets, 255 runs, single-handedly won them a couple games. Why do you think it is? It's just short memory because Rajasthan got knocked out?
Yeah,
I think I don't know if he deserves a place in the best. He had a fantastic season, but when you think of the names that we were debating, somehow I just think it's tough to put him in.
The thing with Tewatia is great, man. I mean, he did what he did very well, but there's nothing spectacular about his cricket. I mean, yes, he had that one innings at Sharjah, which was big hitting, but I mean, he's a leg spinner, decent fielder, but there's nothing like, there's no X factor about Tewatia. Now, maybe I'm going to come to regret this in the coming years that, and he becomes this amazing leg spinning all rounder for
No,
India.
Are you calling him a bits and pieces cricketer?
Bro, that's for people who've only played international cricketer. Cricket can call other people that.
Oh.
But
No, I mean,
Sorry,
if that
Varun.
Sharjah match was the difference between, them qualifying and not qualifying, I think absolutely you could put it down to Tewatia saved their season and stuff. But I mean, even with that, they came last. So
who are we calling our man of this season, guys? Let's one name only. Pick one name out of the entire fantastic tournament that we've had. If we had to give an Edges and Sledges award for man of the IPL 2020, who would it go to? Ashwin?
Jasprit Bumrah.
Wow, that was quick. Varun?
yeah, Bumrah.
I would have given it to Ishan Kishan, man. I thought he just lit up the IPL with his fearless cricket. That 99 was heartbreaking, but I mean, the confidence of a 22-year-old. He's the same vintage as Pant, man. They both opened the batting together for India at the under-19 level. But the maturity and the batsmanship he's shown, I just find he's come as a breath of fresh air, man, to me. He's just And we saw the doubts that he had in that Netflix documentary as well. So really pleased for him. And Ashwin, you pointed out the interesting point that he had gloves on while holding the trophy, but was kissing it with his mouth, which was pretty amusing.
Yeah, imagine getting COVID from kissing the trophy. That would be a funny, very disappointingly funny story. So anyway.
Let's hope he doesn't. But guys, that's the team of the tournament. It's been a fantastic IPL. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll put the team of the tournament out. It's Rahul, KL Rahul. Guys, sorry, one more question. Did Ishan Kishan actually keep wicket this season at all? Because if that's the criteria, I think Rahul's got to keep wicket, right?
I mean,
it's
just a team, man. You can make anyone keep.
Varun's had enough now. Anyway, guys. So
yeah, because you left out Ben Stokes.
Oh God, he's still stuck on it. KL Rahul, Shikhar, Dhawan, Suryakumar, Yadav, Ishan, Kishan, AB de Villiers, Marcus Stoinis, Jadeja, Jofra, Archer, Bumrah, Chahal and Shami. Pretty strong, huh? We'll put that out, guys. Let us know what you think about the team of the tournament, and congratulations to our fantasy league winners. I don't think any of us have anything to write home about this time in the league. We were kind of like the Williams or the Reynolds in F1 terms, right? Like,
but among the three of us, who won?
You're the Renault, we're the Williams, Varun and
I was the best of the three poor performances.
We're the Minardis of the old F1 thing. But anyway, guys, that's the congratulations to the winners. We've got number 1 and number 3, but we're waiting for Jai Patanjali Baba. Ashwin, that's how they pronounce it. It's Jai Patanjali Baba.
I preferred the way we were saying it, but that's
Jai
fine.
Patanjali Baba. Anyway, guys, that's the show. Contact us at Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. One tip, one hand. We will be back with more edges and sledges next week. We will be talking about the India tour of Australia, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. All the big chatter whether Rohit should captain the test team despite not being a regular member of the team as yet. We'll talk about all of that. Whether Kohli should be leaving the tour mid test match to go and be with his wife. We'll talk about all of that fun stuff, but that's for another day. This was an IPL special. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the IPL, and we will see you all soon. Thanks, guys.
The year has changed. The sphere has changed. The faces have changed. The places have changed. The bowlers have changed. The goals have changed. Changed are the scores. Changed are the cheering roars. Cricket has changed. But things that can never change is passion for cricket and the comfort to watch it at your home, built with SRG's strong and trusted plywood, block board and flush door. SRG Ply and Boards, with you since 1895. To know more about us, visit our website on www.srgroupindia.com.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट लगते हैं. नाम है फुटबॉल शुटबॉल.
Presenting Football Shortball, a show about 3 friends discussing our favorite game over a beer. Sometimes 3, maybe even 5. Hi, I'm Shiva, and with me are my 2 sidekicks, Gaurav Sapre and Karthik Iyer.
Sidekick? You mean like Batman's Robin or Van Persie Robin?
No, I mean like Alexis Sanchez, but with a little more skill than just playing the piano.
Ha! Just shows how the best players at Arsenal are mere bench warmers at United.
Oh, thank you, Iyer. But you're a Fulham supporter, so whenever you say anything to support me, I question my beliefs.
Just like how Griezmann would say, एक बार मैंने जो decision ले लिया, तो मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
Banter aside, we will talk match reports, transfer rumours, top controversies, fantasy football picks and so much more. So grab a beer and tune in to Football Shootball every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website or wherever you get your podcasts.